People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar states his position on the legitimacy of President Tinubu for the helmsman's job. APC says press conference is a regurgitation of lies and distortions. We have a discussion on these developments. Also on political update today, Kogi governorship election and its unending cycle of violence, threats and accusations. We have this and more on our lineup. I'm Fisai Ogunfui. Welcome. The 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says the documents handed over to him by the Chicago State University in the United States of America are to be tendered in the Supreme Court in furtherance of his petition against the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. The former vice president briefed the media in Abuja.
Atiku Abubakar, having secured documents that he requested for on President Tinubu's academic record, says his action is aimed at enshrining probity, accountability and the basic principles of justice, morality and uprightness in the country and in government.
I will only drop the fight when the court rules. If the court rules that I am right, fine. If the court rules that he is right, so that's the end of the fight. Because at the moment we are at the Supreme Court and there is no any other court than the Supreme Court.
Atiku Abubakar says it is also to ensure compliance with the provisions of the Constitution for requirements that those who seek the highest elective office in the land should possess.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress says the press conference addressed by the former vice president and candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, lacks purpose and was characterized by what it described as pitiful regurgitations of lies, mindless distortions, and deliberate falsehood. The statement also says it is an obsession of the candidate with the academic record of President Bola Tinubu in a statement signed and made available by the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Moha. Says Atiku Abubakar displayed what he called utter desperation in his failed bid to become the president of the country and was only doing this as a shortfall of what he did is a shortfall of a true Democrat who should by now accept defeat and allow good governance to prevail. National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Felix Moha, joins us now from Lagos via Zoom. Let's start this way. If you're there, yes, thank you for joining us at this time. Your phones must be ringing off the hook since yesterday. Is your party sweating over these allegations? Mr. Moha, if you can unmute your audio, it seems as if there's a little bit of, we can't quickly, get your audio now.
Apologies. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So go ahead. Let's start from the top.
So
yes.
I was saying that my name is Felix Morka.
Morka, go ahead.
And there's no reason to feel any heat at the All Progressives Congress because the press conference addressed by the former vice president and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party did not pack any heat whatsoever. It was a lackluster press conference. As a matter of fact, the heat was there with them at the conference. I'm sure you heard at some point where the moderator mentioned that the room was very hot. So they are swimming in their own heat. We are not perturbed by the press conference because there was nothing that was factual that he had to say. Everything said yesterday and since yesterday and even before yesterday were mere lies, distortions, untruths, and sheer fabrication of facts.
Let me come in here. We will not attempt to try this case, but what do you mean by lies and distortions by, the people?
No, I will explain that. I will explain that. Now, the only thing that was said that I think a lot of people are discussing is the suggestion that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic, forged his certificate issued by the Chicago State University. That is not the case. There was no forgery, and the deposition given by the registrar of that institution did not, at any point, throughout the entire transcript of the deposition, make any suggestion, let alone a clear statement, that the certificate that this president submitted to INEC was a forgery. He didn't. That was an invention by Atiku and his cohorts. Now, the transcript available is everywhere online. Anyone who takes, it's a long document, so I can imagine if people don't have the patience to read it. But I encourage everyone to read it so they can actually come to a valid conclusion on this matter. There was nowhere in the entire document where the registrar suggested that anybody forged documents or forged a certificate. Now, let me say this. Why would Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who attended and graduated from the Chicago State University, as confirmed by the registrar of that university, why would he forge a document that he has earned? Now, let me put this in perspective. At the tribunal, Atiku Abubakar and the PDP went to court to argue that Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not attend the CSU. That was their case before the tribunal. And that was the judgment that the tribunal decided, among other issues, on that very point, that Bola Tinubu did not attend the CSU. Now, they went to Chicago, and the school confirmed that this man was our student and attested under oath that he graduated from the school. So they left that. They're now chasing a new shadow, suggesting that there was a forgery. Now, they have yet to reveal the basis for that allegation that this president forged any document. Why would he forge a document that he has earned or that he earned as a student? It makes no sense. So you see, they have put themselves in a corner where they cannot come out of, and all they do now is to blackmail and hogwash and do other things to whip up sentiments and create this whole appearance as though the president did anything. There's nothing at all to discuss out of that press conference. And certainly the allegation itself is just pure malice. And Atiku himself said that much. He has an axe to grind with this president over their long past relationship. But that's irresponsible to make that the basis to make wicked and malicious allegations against a man who earned his degree from a university in the United States.
Let's move away from these qualifications a little bit. I'm talking about let's go to. Do you intend to perhaps help this process by your party perhaps presenting the originals?
The president is a citizen of the Federal Republic. And every right that you and I enjoy under our Constitution, he also enjoys. Now, if you say he forged the certificate, it is not for him to prove that he didn't. Because if he tries to prove that he didn't, all they will do is come up with more to throw. He who asserts must prove. If you claim that he forged the certificate, it is your duty as a citizen under the law to prove that the president forged a document, his certificate or any other document. It's not a burden that is put on the president to prove that he did it. Now, who does that? If you come and you call me a thief, why should I worry myself to prove that I'm not a thief? You should bring evidence to show that I'm a thief. When you cannot prove that, then it's your problem, and I just wave you away with a hand. Because, inanities and frivolities. So that is how it is. So don't expect that the president is going to be jumping up and down to come and prove and convince Atiku Abubakar. Why should he convince Atiku Abubakar? Abubakar has no deserving interest in the president's credentials. INEC is the authority that is conducted in Nigeria. Document, INEC was satisfied with the document presented by this president. And a tribunal that reviewed the case as to whether or not Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a student and graduated from CSU also gave a valid judgment. They have appealed to the Supreme Court. So all of this discussion in the public space shouldn't be occurring. They should simply hold their breath, go to the Supreme Court with whatever they think they have found in the US, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic, will meet them at the Supreme Court to discuss and answer any queries or questions that may be put to him.
Your statement, before I let you go, your statement still also mentioned, perhaps an allusion to an abuse of the process, a contempt of court. Some would also say, but he has a right to say what he has to say at this time.
No, you have a right to speak, but you don't have a right to lie and to tell stories that don't exist. You have a right to free expression. You can say what you want. If you went to the United States and you got information, represent that information very accurately. You don't have a right to simply come back and try to be deceptive and tell stories that don't exist. Because when you do that, you mislead people, and you don't have a right to mislead anybody. So the point I'm making is that when they began to mislead the public, it completely veered off their liberty to fairly inform the public. You don't have a right to lie against another, because when you do that, you create a cause of action. So there's nothing stopping the president from bringing, civil action against these individuals for completely impugning his character and reputation. But that's a different conversation. All I'm saying is that the reason I put out a statement completely reprimanding Atiku Abubakar and his minions is to say to them, look, if you must speak about what happened in Chicago, represent it fairly and accurately. No worries. If you do that, I don't have a problem. But when you begin to say things that are not there, just to rake up sentiments and blackmail the president, or even if it was me, I'm not the president, but if you blackmail me, I won't take it kindly. And I'm sure that you yourself will not take kindly to anyone who comes to blackmail you. My point here is Atiku Abubakar must answer one question. What is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's incentive to lie about credentials that he earned? The school has proved that. That is no longer in debate. They're no longer talking about whether he went to CSU or not. They've abandoned that. They have embraced a new lie, which is that he forged a certificate. Why would a man who attended a school, graduated with honors, why would he forge his own certificate? And the school didn't say he forged the certificate. So what is the purpose of that?
All right.
People who forge documents are people who don't have documents, who are not entitled to it. Not a man who has worked hard and earned his degree, and then he goes to forge the certificate. I've never seen anything like that anywhere in the world.
All right, time is not our friend. I think you have made your point, but let me just, ask something, or moving away from this crossfire you've had with, the other side. There are off-cycle elections in a month's time. What have you learned from the general elections that you're bringing forward as a party?
No, we've learned a lot. We've learned that we never have taken anything for granted. But even more so now, we are keenly aware that we must go to our electorates in Kogi, in Bayelsa, and in Imo to showcase the work that our government in Imo and Kogi have done especially, and to also point out the potential for radical improvements in the livability index in Bayelsa, because the PDP government in Bayelsa has been a complete basket case. They've done nothing in the history of their government.
Mr. Moga, I would, since they are not on the show, I wouldn't want you to, make those qualifications when they cannot defend themselves. But you have made your point. Thank you very much for coming on Political Update.
So
That's Mr. Felix Moga, National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress on Political Update. Now, the campaign organization of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Kogi State has called on the Inspector General of Police to investigate the killing of a woman in Kutunkarfi, Kogi local government area during a rally in the region. The request was made during a press briefing held in Lokoja by the SDP campaign organization, the Kogi State AP. We'll take that report before we come to the other report from the APC in that state.
During the briefing in Lokoja, Hassan Enape, the SDP campaign DG, revealed that The party had notified the police and other state security agencies of their scheduled rally in Kotonkarfi, Kogi local government area, and has received approval. According to him, on the rally day, before the SDP governorship candidate arrival, unknown thugs had stormed the venue, firing shots and causing supporters to flee in panic, resulting in the tragic death of a woman.
Taking the issues Commissioner of Police tried to canvass in his indictment, he talked about Murtala Ajaka moving around with dogs armed to the teeth. I want to say that it is a lie, totally fabricated, to paint the image of our candidate and our party.
He further added that when the SDP governorship candidate arrived with security personnel, the situation was brought under control and supporters began the rally.
We challenge them to exhume the body of that lady and show that the bullet that entered that lady was not the bullet from the pump action. The policemen carry pump actions. In any case, I think I was not even around when that incident happened. Everybody can see, I mean, the videos are there, when they were marching to the Unique Palace.
By providence of God, they shot themselves. Forensic evidences can prove that the woman that was shot by unprofessional handling of their own weapons. How did they get those weapons?
In response to the incident, the Kogi State Public Relations Officer Williams Aya told journalists that the matter is currently under investigation.
Now, the Kogi State Campaign Council of the APC has condemned the alleged murder of one of his supporters by suspected opposition party thugs during a rally in Kotonkarfi, and has promised that justice will prevail. Kingsley Femi Fanwo, the media director of the APC Campaign Council, made this statement during a media briefing in Lokoja.
In response to the tragic murder of a woman allegedly killed by suspected thugs associated with another political party and its governorship candidate at a political rally in Kotonkarfi last week, the spokesperson and director of media and publicity for the Kogi APC Governorship Campaign Council, Kingsley Femi Fanwo, expressed sorrow and condemnation over the incident. Mr. Fanwo extended condolences to the victim's family and the Kotonkarfi community. He urged APC supporters to maintain calm with assurances that security agencies are working to apprehend and prosecute the perpetrators, emphasizing the importance of justice prevailing.
We are putting in place measures to ensure that we do not witness what happened at Kotonkarfi a few days ago again. Not just ahead of the 2023 elections, but in the political history of our state. That was a dastardly act, and it's something that the entire world is condemning at this material time. What we need to do is to apply the rule of law. When you apply the rule of law, it's very easy for you to be able to contain this kind of things. Those who kill must not go scot-free. They must be apprehended, no matter how highly placed they are.
He stressed the commitment of the APC and its candidate, Usman Ahmed Ododo, to a peaceful, issue-based campaign that reflects the enduring legacy of the party's political performance in Kogi State. He assured that, even in the face of provocation, the APC campaign will uphold peace and adhere to the rules of the game.
Now, in the lead up to the Kogi State governorship election, the state's youth have united to call on governorship candidates from all political parties to heed their demands in preparation for the upcoming elections. This collective effort was showcased during a town hall meeting held in Lokoja.
The youth of Kogi State have voiced their demands to the governorship candidates in anticipation of the November 2023 election. They have also expressed their commitment to maintaining peace throughout the state during this crucial period. This initiative unfolded at a town hall meeting organized by the youth groups, including the Nigerian Youth Futures Fund, LEAP Africa, and the Lugard Youth Development and Empowerment Initiative. The group stressed the importance of the candidates fostering peace and refraining from exploiting young people for violent purposes. The convener and director of the Lugard Youth Development and Empowerment Initiative, in his remarks, urged the candidates to remember the youth not only during elections, but also in the implementation of their policies. In response, the governorship candidates pledged to incorporate the youth's demands into their plans and manifestos. Regarding the readiness of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the upcoming election, Haliru Haruna, the representative of the resident electoral commissioner, shared the following insights.
PVC issuance and collection is ongoing, and that is going to end on the 9th of this month.
Various organizations, including the ICPC, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, youth associations, among other civil society organizations, promised to ensure a free and fair election in the state. The program, among other events, featured the signing of a peace accord by governorship candidates present at the meeting. The youth's presentation of the Charter of Demand signifies a positive step as they strive to build synergy in preparation for the election.
Well, now some leaders of the Governing All Progressives Congress APC Rivers State chapter have endorsed the Minister of Federal Capital Territory and two-term governor of the state, Nyesom Wike, as leader of the party. The endorsement was during a visit by a high-powered delegation of the State Working Committee members to the party's national secretariat in Abuja.
APC's performance in PDP-dominated Rivers State in the last presidential election, many believe is a feat soaked in political paradox. It, however, begins to make perfect sense when these leaders say one of the factors that led to the party's unprecedented victory in the state was the influence of the then governor and now minister of the FCT. The delegation appealed to the national chairman not to be distracted by those they referred to as pretenders, masquerading as genuine members who abandoned the party at its time of need.
So whether you are party O, party B, party C, Nyesom Wike calls the shots today, and he works with you, sir, at the federal cabinet. Please, when you want to contact us for our dues, our appointments, please reach him. He will reach us. Is that not correct?
The national chairman of the Governing All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, urged them to ensure they explore instruments of reconciliation and put the party in order ahead of future elections in the state and the country at large.
We have received your address, and the party will come in and see how we can get a solid party leadership in Rivers State so that we can move forward. But what we are begging, do not overheat the system.
This is the third delegation the national chairman is receiving from Rivers State on the platform of the Governing All Progressives Congress since assumption of office.
That story concludes Political Update for today. We'll be back again on Tuesday for a fresher package with an eye on the off-cycle elections in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states. My name is Fisao Ogunfuyi, urging you to play your politics for the greater good and keep it logged on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.